Paul. Damn. Damn. Juba. 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 Can't say his name. What the hell?
Where's my phone?
Juba and this girl.
Michael.
Juba.
Michael.
Juba.
Michael.
Juba.
Michael.
No, I'm gonna break it. Fine, fine. I'll be wolf then.
Michael. You and Michael working together.
All the performances? Me and Maya will take shifts. Singers. We have to work on. So you're gonna be teaching the whole year? Never mind then. Anyways. It's okay, fine. We're just filming the singers. Cause I break stuff. Oh, Hisham, hey.
I don't have good
What's up?
songs.
How's LOL?
It didn't work.
Why? There's no internet?
No internet in Argentina.
There's internet here.
Yeah, thanks for calling us and telling us that you're ordering.
I didn't know anyone was ordering.
Then how did you order yourself?
You don't have to speak into the mic.
I do want to. Come on, Hisham. 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 Hello? Check 1, 2, 3.
Because I'm Shadow.
Shut up.
Shadow.
Sham!
I'll play Shadow.
Listen, I can beatbox better than Amulia.
Can I do? Okay, listen to me.
When you download after the what's the song that we're playing at the end?
I thought you guys had it. You were playing it last time.
No, I loaded it from YouTube.
What?
Give me red. Who? Really? Where? Outside. Yeah.
Oh god, I need to breathe.
Kino. Relax.
No,
My
just run up and
HOD.
down the stairs.
My HOD. What do you need from me?
Nothing. I just
No,
do
like,
I look presentable?
what? Yeah, you look very presentable. You're wasted. What do I need to do?
You need to come with me and welcome people.
Yalla.
We need to clear this mess up.
Hello?
Okay, everyone backstage, if you haven't eaten, there is pizza upstairs in the technical room. So come upstairs for some pizza if you haven't eaten, please.
Mishika? Mishika? We need speakers downstairs.
Speakers isn't the people speaking or the...
I don't. Oh, people speaking. Oh, yeah, yeah. Check mic 1, 2, 3. Tutum, tsh. Wait, guys, how does the movie do that thing?
tell me exactly which mic
Put the
is
AC
supposed to
on,
be on
please.
at all times.
It is. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. I didn't know any of it.
Okay, listen, we're not gonna turn off and on mics. The speakers have to do it from downstairs themselves. You know that, right?
Who said you want to put songs on
Find
at
out.
the beginning when Emma's walking in? Is Hansika playing interlude? She doesn't know if she's playing interlude or not. Tell her. Let her know. Sit. She's like, don't turn the music down and I'm asking you something.
Should I dim it? Should I dim it?
Do you want the lights off?
Hello, hello.
Friends, family, and distinguished guests, welcome to Emirates International School TEDxYouth 2014. My name is Paul Haddad.
Denzel Matoko, host of today's show.
Be prepared for an excellent schedule with magnificent performances, brilliant speeches, and overall great
Standing show.
Events like this bring the ES community and the world together.
Performances lined up can inspire us, move us, and may even surprise us,
like Paul and Susan Tyler right there.
Friends and family, many of you may be asking, what is TEDx? Well, TEDx was all started when a massive non-profit organization by the name TED Talks chose to create an event of local, self-organized events which brought people together for a TED-like experience. The X was later added to make it to implement that it would be an independently organized event. Therefore, tonight, our grade 12s have organized this event.
Now, I'd like to introduce the person that made this all happen. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be here. She's outgoing, hardworking. Some days she didn't sleep. She spent her free time organizing this. This wouldn't have happened without a young lady, a dear friend, Ashley Seth.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to TEDxYouth EISJ. I'd like to thank you all for taking out your time today to come and appreciate the amazing talent that we have in our school student body. It's just something that's really going to inspire you today. This year's theme of The Spark was greatly inspired by our own grade. Actually, we started the IB Diploma program with this generic understanding of the course. We were kind of afraid of moving from being teenagers into young adults. Maybe it was the doubled workload or the triple responsibility. But as our workload increased, it was almost like impossible to do extracurriculars when time came into the equation. But when the idea of TEDx came around, it was amazing to see the amount of students who were willing to give up their time and really make an effort to make this event possible. Why TEDx? Because we wanted to give students the opportunity to translate their emotions into words and express their ideas and opinions on this platform today. Because we wanted to break out of our academic shell and step out of our comfort zones to make this event possible. Because we wanted to celebrate the creativity and ingenuity that is in our school student body, which you will see today. And it's gonna change you. 2 years ago, the exact same team sat where you are today to watch the first TEDxYouth, which was at our school, which was organized by our seniors at the time. And they really, really inspired us. Then almost a month ago, the same, like us, the grade 12s, we set out to make the same, achieve the same goal. And it was amazing to see the whole grade come together as one working unit. It's like we've matured and we've taken up responsibilities and we've done it together all as a group. Overall, it's been truly an incredible experience, from the funniest practices on weekends to the sheer joy of getting tasks completed. I would mention the downs, but there really aren't any apart from maybe the long, sleepless nights. Overall, the team was so hardworking, so amazing, and it's really been an amazing experience, and here we are today. I hope you were able to gain from this event an insight on the students' perspectives and opinions, and really get inspired by the youth of our school. From today, I hope you really enjoy and sit back, get comfortable, and be prepared to listen to an array of inspiring speeches. I'd also like to thank Mr. Teba for coming to represent the Habtour board for us. And yeah, thank you so much. Enjoy the show.
Before we carry on, I would just like to say what an honor it is to host this show in front of such a prestige audience in front of me. I'd like to give a shout out to my friends back home. Starting from the bottom, now we're here. Sorry, Paul. Before we carry on, just be prepared to get mind blown, as this show will be spectacular. There will be two TED videos. There will be three TED videos coming up. One of them TED Talks by Austrian creator who introduces the TED Talks program to you. The other two will be two TED Talks. So please sit back and enjoy and watch the videos and turn off your iPhones and Samsungs. But before that, can you please take a moment and shoot out a quick tweet about this event with the hashtags TEDxYouth EISJ. As it'll show in our live stream as you tweet, so we'll know who didn't tweet and who did tweet. So please sit back and enjoy the video.
Now today, you're part of a truly remarkable global phenomenon. Around the world, thousands of people have been gathering in meetings to experience the power of ideas. A surprising thing about today's meeting is that we here at TED have had almost nothing to do with it. We lent our name, our format, a few simple guidelines, and some of our content. But the really hard work to make today happen has been down to your local organizers, and we're truly in awe at the passion and dedication that they have shown to make something like this work. A thank you to you too for taking the time out to come and be part of this exciting conversation about our shared future. Now please write and tell us what you make of the event today. But for now, on with the show.
So imagine you're standing on a street anywhere in America, and a Japanese man comes up to you and says, excuse me, what is the name of this block? And you say, I'm sorry, well, this is Oak Street, that's Elm Street. This is 26th, that's 27th. He says, okay, but what is the name of that block? And you say, well, blocks don't have names. Streets have names. Blocks are just the unnamed spaces in between streets. He leaves a little confused and disappointed. So now imagine you're standing on a street anywhere in Japan. You turn to a person next to you and say, excuse me, what is the name of this street? And they say, oh, well, that's block 17 and this is block 16. And you say, okay, but what is the name of this street? And they say, well, streets don't have names. Blocks have names. Just look at Google Maps here. There's block 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. All of these blocks have names, and the streets are just the unnamed spaces in between the blocks. And you say, okay, then how do you know your home address? I said, well, easy. This is District 8. There's block 17, house number 1. You say, okay, but walking around the neighborhood, I noticed that the house numbers don't go in order. He said, of course they do. They go in the order in which they were built. The first house ever built on a block is house number 1. The second house ever built is house number 2. Third is house number 3. It's easy. It's obvious. So I love that sometimes we need to go to the opposite side of the world to realize assumptions we didn't even know we had, and realize that the opposite of them may also be true. So for example, there are doctors in China who believe that it's their job to keep you healthy. So any month you are healthy, you pay them. And when you're sick, you don't have to pay them because they failed at their job. They get rich when you're healthy, not sick. In most music, we think of the 1 as the downbeat, the beginning of the musical phrase. 1, 2, 3, 4. But in West African music, the 1 is thought of as the end of the phrase, like the period at the end of a sentence. So you can hear it not just in the phrasing, but the way they count off their music. 2, 3, 4, 1. And this map is also accurate. There's a saying that whatever true thing you can say about India, the opposite is also true. So let's never forget, whether at TED or anywhere else, that whatever brilliant ideas you have or hear, that the opposite may also be true. Domo arigatou gozaimasu.
This is really a 2-hour presentation I give to high school students, cut down to 3 minutes. And it all started one day on a plane on my way to TED, 7 years ago. And in the seat next to me was a high school student, a teenager, and she came from a really poor family. And she wanted to make something of her life. And she asked me a simple little question. She said, "What leads to success?" And I felt really badly because I couldn't give her a good answer. So I get off the plane and I come to TED. And I think, geez, I'm in the middle of a room of successful people. So why don't I ask them what helped them succeed and pass it on to kids? So here we are, 7 years, 500 interviews later, and I'm going to tell you what really leads to success and makes TEDsters tick. And the first thing is passion. Freeman Thomas says, "I'm driven by my passion." TEDsters do it for love, they don't do it for money. Carol Coletta says, "I would pay someone to do what I do." And the interesting thing is, if you do it for love, the money comes anyway. Work. Rupert Murdoch said to me, "It's all hard work. Nothing comes easily, but I have a lot of fun." Did he say fun, Rupert? Yes. TEDsters do have fun working, and they work hard. I figured they're not workaholics, they're workaholics. Good. Alex Garden says, to be successful, put your nose down in something and get damn good at it. There's no magic, it's practice, practice, practice. And it's focus. Norman Jewison said to me, "I think it all has to do with focusing yourself on one thing." And push. David Gallo says, push yourself. Physically, mentally, you've got to push, push, push. You got to push through shyness and self-doubt. Goldie Hawn says, "I always had self-doubts. I wasn't good enough, I wasn't smart enough, I didn't think I'd make it." Now, it's not always easy to push yourself, and that's why they invented mothers. Frank Gehry said to me, "My mother pushed me." Serve. Sherwin Newland says, "It was a privilege to serve as a doctor." Now, a lot of kids tell me they want to be millionaires, and the first thing I say to them is, okay, well, you can't serve yourself. You got to serve others something of value, because that's the way people really get rich. Ideas. TEDster Bill Gates says, "I had an idea." Founding the first microcomputer software company. I'd say it was a pretty good idea. And there's no magic to creativity and coming up with ideas. It's just doing some very simple things. And I give lots of evidence. Persist. Joe Kraus says persistence is the #1 reason for our success. You got to persist through failure. You got to persist through crap, which of course means criticism, rejection, assholes, and pressure. So the answer to this question is simple. Pay $4,000 and come to TED. Or failing that, do the 8 things, and trust me, these are the big 8 things that lead to success. Thank you, TEDsters, for all your interviews.
But now we have the answer to our question. Why is it that X is the unknown? X is the unknown because you can't say sh in Spanish. And I thought that was worth sharing.
I don't know about you, Paul, but I really like videos. You like videos? Well, by the way, I show all videos. The performance is too scared to come up. I'm just kidding. But coming up, we have 2 more videos to show you. These videos are made by the own very TED team. So be prepared, fasten your seatbelt. Can I steal the most precious gift you give me? Your attention. And please enjoy this video.
Okay, class, let's have a seat. We're about to watch a video.
It all starts with a spark. And that's all you need to change the future. Take charge and lift your generation to places no one's ever been before. Lead your people and make a difference.
And we are calling it iPhone.
We are met with cynicism and doubt, and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can.
Be someone's inspiration.
Just about there, and he's down here. Safely down.
So find the spark.
The spark.
The spark.
The spark.
The spark. Spark.
Today.
I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die.
Wait, let me show you how I'm gonna save myself.
Tonight is the night.
I'm the Indian Jay-Z. They call me Homer.
The spark! Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, those videos would not have been possible if it weren't for three individuals: Elsa Haddad, Lena Uberishe, and Yuga Lojani. So thank you.
Now that was a video and a half.
So let's start this. All right, ladies and gentlemen, for our first speaker tonight, we see a speaker who was once the youngest speaker in last year's event come back for another year to perform again. She's here to talk to us about how acting together was how it could be anybody. Further ado, please welcome our first speaker of TEDxYouth, Dana Bazari.
The spark. Noun. A small thrown off from a fire, a light in ashes, or produced by striking together two hard surfaces, such as stone or metal. Search the word spark, and that comes up. But is that the spark that I mean? We all have a starting point. We all have something that turns our minds on, something that gets us thinking, something that ignites the light in ourselves. Our inspiration, our start, our spark. Your spark can be possibly anything, from a story you've heard, to a person you've met, to an object you've bought. This spark can inspire anything you do. This spark is the start of a new page in the story of your life. This spark is a key to opening the door to wherever you want to go and whatever you want to do. It's a building block in the tower of your success. My spark was a Montessori Model United Nations conference. When I attended, I was sat in a big auditorium, and they played a video, and this boy comes up. His name was Craig Kielberger. He was my age, 12, and a normal everyday boy living in Canada. Craig was reading through the newspaper one day when he came across an article about the murder of a 12-year-old Pakistani boy called Iqbal Masih. He was a former child factory worker who had spoken out against child labor in Pakistan. That was Craig's spark to start a campaign run by him, a 12-year-old, called Free the Children. Now Craig is 31 years old, with a successful running company and support from celebrities and world icons. This is one of my many inspirations. It shows me that anyone of any age and race can do anything with dedication and hard work. But are people taking action in these matters? You wake up, you go to school, college, or work, come back, finish off, and go to bed. That is most of our everyday lives in here, right? How boring. One day, I want to wake up and hear that we are making a change. I want to hear that wars are ending, that child labor and slavery are being abolished. I want to hear that diseases are being cured, that starvation and water drought problems are being solved, and Poverty is ending. I want to hear that we are walking hand in hand in equality, being one human race, and everyone is happy. My vision is that we become one. Seems like a huge vision for a little girl like me to have and to try to accomplish, right? Well, it isn't. Let's be honest here, it's not easy. It's hard changing the human race, changing our ways, changing our opinions, and changing our lives. In the process of having to work together, we are going to experience a lot of disappointment, a lot of failure, a lot of pain. Let me tell you one thing though. Rough times haven't come to stay. They have come to pass. There are moments where we are going to doubt ourselves and give up. But those moments are where we have to accept our troubles and keep moving forward. We keep working harder and harder each day till we come to a day where we are all one. Because that is what we are supposed to be. We are supposed to be one. But how long will it take for everyone to find that out? How long will it take for everyone to find out that we need each other? How long will it take till we start working together? How long will it take till we become one? It won't happen alone. To make it happen, we have to work together and as one. We are one. Find your inspiration. Find your spark. You might be your own spark, but when something gets you thinking, take action. Let your spark burst into a flame of success. And let your flame be a fire that burns through us all. And leave your mark in the world.
Thank you, Dana, for that rather inspiring speech. She has more confidence in me, but she's only 12.
Makes the both of us.
Well, next up, hope you guys are enjoying the show. Next up, I'd like to introduce my dear friend, my classmate. He's entering the stage for a second time after performing a successful speech last year. He's here to enlighten us with his great public speaking ability. Can you please put your hands together for Amulya Shankar?
Let me tell you a story about a young boy named Kumar. You see, he was brought up by Indian parents with an average to high income, and they lived in a 2-bedroom apartment. They had enough money for his basic necessities, his food, his shelter, and most importantly, his education. You see, the interesting thing is, Kumar's parents wanted him to succeed in life, and that's exactly what he did. He went to a public high school every day, studied under a single light bulb, but earned top marks and earned full scholarship in American university. He even got a job in a firm on Wall Street. As he was 50 years old and he had retired because he had enough money that he wanted, he had a Porsche, he had a mansion, he sat down thinking to himself, reflecting. He felt this empty feeling inside his stomach, but the thing is, he couldn't figure out what. He was at the top of the ladder. He had enough money for a lifetime. What in the world was he? Ladies and gentlemen, the thing is, throughout Kumar's life, trying to succeed, as he was trying to gain an advantage, he had missed out finding his spark. In the next 2 to 3 minutes, I don't really plan on answering any of your questions on what you have on the spark, but really opening some loops for discussion. First, what is the spark? I'm not going to give you a dictionary definition of what the spark means. I'm going to make it a bit more personal. For me, the spark is it's that one activity, that one event in which when you take part in, makes your life joyous, complete, fulfilled. I think Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, professor of psychology at the University of Chicago, describes this best in his book, The Flow. He says the flow, or as I describe it, the spark, is an activity in which the monetary value or any reward that you gain at the end is not as important as taking part in the activity itself. Remember that last jamming session you had with your friends, which only seemed like 30 minutes, but was actually 4 hours long? That is the spark. Now, interestingly speaking, many people did not find it easy to find their spark. I'll tell you a story about a man named Joe Sarkin, and I read his book, his autobiography, called Shadows as Bright as Glass. The thing is, one day as he was playing his regular game of golf, he took a swing at the golf club and by mistake dislocated his cranial nerve. He obviously felt some sort of discomfort, but after 5 to 10 minutes forgot about the incident. After 1 week, he felt that he was losing his vision and his auditory sense, so he visited the general practitioner, who told him later on to go to a psychologist. This psychologist said it would only be a normal procedure operation to fix the cranial nerve. But as this operation was happening, he suffered a major heart stroke. And because of that, half of his brain cells were deprived of oxygen. The surgeons did not know what to do apart from taking half of his brain, literally taking half of his brain neurons, taking it out, and sewing the brain back together, allowing the neurons to reprogram themselves. Joe Sarkin emerged a changed man. He went out and started painting furiously, almost 4 to 5 paintings a day. And the interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen, he hadn't picked up a paintbrush even once before his operation. And today, his art pieces feature in New York Times. Why am I telling you this anecdote? Because friends, the thing is, no matter how you find your spark, whether it's through a freak accident like what Joe Sarkin experienced, or whether it's through basic internal reflection, the most important thing is having that spark. Now, just because I'm standing over here on a TEDx podium with lights on me doesn't mean the spark has to be something profound. You don't have to be a Beethoven, a Mozart, or a Picasso for that to be a spark. You could just have fun dabbling with paintings or trying yourself out at the keyboard, but as long as it gives you that enjoyment, that fulfillment, that is your spark. And when you have that, you've just differentiated yourself from being one of the million Kumars in this world. Why? Because you have that spark. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your time.
Thank you, Mulya, for an absolutely sublime speech. Ladies and gentlemen, up next we see a very, very talented young boy take the stage. He is here to convey his thoughts of how vanishing for protection could be anybody's spark in this modern day. Here to perform Make You Feel My Love, please welcome the very talented Irfan.
People may say this song is a love story, but some look deeper within. Some can see the unknown, and some just look at all the aspects. To me, this song is protection. It's the feeling that you desire when you're having a bad day. It's what most people don't experience in their life. It's a dream. It's affection. It's a spark. A spark to me is what can change everything in less than a second. It could be a start of a new fire or the beginning of the new journey. My journey. It all started a year ago when I was in 8th grade. I just moved here, new life, new home, new school. I still remember the first day. I was so shy and quiet, and yet had my hand up for every question. Kind of the typical new kid. Well, I was okay with myself, but others didn't understand me. They wanted me to change. They wanted me to be someone who I'm not. Someone who I don't want to be. This song helped me in the hardest times. It helped me break out of my shell and reach for the skies. I changed, but still kept the things that make me special and who I am today. Or else, I wouldn't be up here talking to you guys. This song tells you how in the saddest times you could be happy by thinking about the people that love you and care about you. This could be your family, your best friend, or even anyone else that you could rely on. The meaning of this song isn't necessarily about a spark. It's about how you can build up to it. It's like those first baby steps that you take that can lead to running, and then jumping, and maybe flying. You never know when it's going to happen. You just know it is. It could be a song, a meeting, or even a loss. And that's what's special about a spark. Just remember that today when you go home, you say to yourself, I am as capable as anyone else in this room. I am strong and powerful, and I will never change who I am just to satisfy other people's needs. Because I am me, and that's who I want to be. And I will never regret anything that I've done just because other people didn't like it. Because I am the one who's worth everything. If you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, listen to the voice within. Because at the end of the day, you're the one with the action, and you're the one who needs to be happy. And you're the one who needs to ignite that spark. When you get older, you're going to regret the things that you didn't do more than the things that you did. So go out, do something, take challenges, take risks, the ones that you want to do. And when you're at this adventure of yours, don't think about the past. Just enjoy the present and plan the future. And never escape reality. Because sparks may ignite faster there, but there's no fire. And promise me that you'll believe in what you and you only think about yourself, not anyone else, just you. Because if you listen carefully, people do love you and care about you, but they just have different ways of making you feel their love.
Thank you, Irfan, for that. That was quite the performance.
Thank you.
He followed his beliefs and stuck to what he thought was right and wrong. He lived up to his expectations and succeeded with flying colors. Music warms us, which is a good thing for our friends back in the north. We're thinking about you. Now, time for me to tell a little story of my own, since everybody else got to tell stories. So, you know, one of those people in life who are always motivated to do the things he or she loves? Yep. Well, our next performer is one of them. She's in grade 12, yet has very strong emotions between the electric spark between her lovers and friends. She's here to talk to us today about the scientific perspective of the spark. Can you please give the stage to a young lady coming from grade 12, Arpine Jaglaskian.
Chemistry. The romantic spark between a man and a woman. But what is chemistry? Is chemistry organic? Something two people either have or they don't? Or is chemistry something that is developed in a relationship as you learn to grow and love somebody? This chemistry, or the spark as we call it, is a current of electricity that runs through two people that can either make or break a relationship. Chemistry can take many forms, but in all its forms, it always succeeds in connecting people. It can connect people emotionally, intellectually, and even romantically, and at its very best, in all three ways. This chemistry is part of how we select a mate, and it's a beautiful, natural feeling that provides us with great joy. This speech, I will talk about how the spark between two people is a beautiful thing, but it does not necessarily have to lead to romance. Now, for all the rational thinkers out there, vague and elusive terms like chemistry or the spark don't really mean much. So, I'm going to try and break it down from a more scientific point of view. When two people are in love, there are chemicals in the body flying right and left, so it's hard to pinpoint all of them, but we can only try. So it all starts with PEA, which is an amine that is naturally found in the brain that is also there in some foods, such as chocolate, which is why women crave it so much. This PEA triggers the release of dopamine, which is sometimes called the pleasure chemical, and it is responsible for the feelings of bliss and the elated head over heels part of falling in love. This dopamine, in turn, triggers the release of oxytocin, which is nicknamed the cuddle hormone. In both genders, this hormone is released during, you guessed it, cuddling or touching. This process tends to calm anxiety, reduce stress, and even relieve pain. Now that we've acknowledged that this spark is a massive force and it is present in friends and in romantic lovers, we must cherish this kind of spark because it's not only there in lovers, but it's also there between friends. So, for example, have you ever met somebody for the first time and right from the beginning you sort of clicked with them? Like there was this natural instant spark between you two and a natural charisma in your conversation? Well, there are many factors to this. For example, having the same similarities, even if it's something as simple as sharing the same name or liking the same band, is usually enough to establish a real connection with somebody. Even being in a safe and inviting place can be enough. So, for example, college is a good example of this, as everyone in college is already in a mindset to be making new friends. There's also something called joint adversity, which is when two people go through something together. So this could be something as intense as surviving an emergency plane landing together, or something infinitely more unlikely, like surviving PE class with your dignity intact. Now, this spark, now that we've established that friendship is now part of what we mean by love, and it's common for men and women to be friends, why is it that it's rarely ever seen in popular culture? Well, partly, it's a narrative problem. Friendship isn't courtship. Friendship doesn't have a beginning, a middle, a climax, and an end. Stories about friendship are relatively rare, pretty boring, and to be frank, they don't sell. But this isn't just a narrative problem or a Hollywood problem. We have problem in our culture understanding any love that isn't based on romance or blood. We understand family, we understand marriage, but that's all we seem to understand. We don't understand the asymmetric love between a master and apprentice, a professor and a student, guide and the guided. We don't seem to understand comradeship or the bond that comes from shared and intense work. And we don't understand friendship, at least not of the intimate kind. And when we seem to imagine these relationships, we seem to have to sexualize them. Now, to conclude my speech, I would just like to say that this spark that is found between an old married couple that is strolling through the park holding hands after being together for 40 years, or between two students that are just helping each other with homework, this spark is a spark that we have to cherish, as it's the only one that truly matters. Thank you.
Thank you, Arpine, for showing us your way of the spark in a truly brilliant manner. Ladies and gentlemen, to light a spark for some people, they need to reach a certain level. They need to surpass thousands of obstacles, but most importantly,
It's green, isn't it?
they need to believe.
It's green.
Our next speaker is here to talk about how confidence is his spark and how it's gotten in places he wishes he would get before. So without further ado, please welcome my dear friend, Denver Quadros.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you are all enjoying yourself at this wonderful event with many more speeches and performances lined up for you. Okay. You know, standing up here on stage and conversing ideas is not easy, especially if you're me. I have this trait of running away from anything that intimidates me, and so far, you guys have made it easy for me. So my appreciation holds for that. This means I'll have to scrap off any formal approach I planned for the speech in order to make myself more at ease. Casual mode on. My name is Denver Quadros, and this is my speech on fear sparking negativity. I was compelled to talk about fear in general, and what I'll be giving you here today is pretty much a personal teenage perspective rather than a psychologist's viewpoint. So this speech is completely jargon-free. Now, the word fear is often associated with negative connotations. When we fear something, we look at something from the worst possible outcome there is. For example, when your friend tells you to ask the girl you like out to prom, what's the first thing that springs to your mind? Rejection. Like, no bro, I don't have a chance with her. Without even knowing her true feelings for you. Or maybe when you have a whole bunch of homework due the next day, what's the first thing you think of? Oh my God, there's so much work. Mr. X is going to be so disappointed in us. And then, we spend so much time believing in all these hypothetical outcomes that we never get anything done. Be it get to know the girl we like, or finish any of our work. The fear of failure, in my opinion, is partly why we don't get what we want. Because we create this mental block that stops us from doing what we need to do. Use the girl rejection case, for example. If we believe that rejection is inevitable, we are never going to give ourselves that chance we need to get to know the person better. Because we lack self-confidence. I've seen this in team sports, where self-belief is what separates the victor from the rest. You can clearly tell the better team or individual on that day by looking at the body language and seeing the confidence in them. But why do we think like this? A teacher of mine once told me, if you spend half the amount of time you spend on worrying, on doing something productive, there's actually a lot you can accomplish. Now, this is relevant to much more than just academics, because what stress and fear actually do is they make us miss opportunities, which is why I have this stick in my hand, because I'm not going to let stress and fear miss this opportunity to share my ideas with you. So let's do it. The late Randy Pausch, one of my life inspirations, had once mentioned in his book, The Last Lecture, no matter how bad things are, we'll always make them worse. As cynical as that sounds, that is reality today, because most of us, when we are presented with a situation, we look at it from such a negative point of view that we never appreciate the merits of doing the task itself. I too struggle with this problem. But what can we do to completely cure the problem? I'll tell you what I know. Listen. Nothing. But, every morning I wake up hoping to find the answer to these problems. But what do I do? That is a different question. I motivate myself. I stand in front of the mirror and tell myself, I'm not perfect. But what I can do is I can challenge perfection. Does this mentality help me overcome all my obstacles? Not always, but at least every morning I feel good. And you know what they say, every man needs his ego boost. And since we're in the 21st century, most of you guys would agree on the statement that women need a bigger ego boost today. So to end on a light note, give your neighbor, your partner, and your friend the spark they need to believe in themselves and kill this negativity. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your show.
Ironically, that young man has a...
Have you ever seen a magician pull a rabbit out of a hat? Well, that's kind of like a spark. Something amazing that happens at unexpected times. It isn't just the clashing of two rocks or a spark between two people. It could be an inspirational message, and it could be described in many other ways too. My spark was like a rabbit being pulled out of a hat. At first, I didn't really see anything, but then it appeared clearly right in front of me. Last summer, I went to Thailand. It wasn't a typical teenage girl vacation for shopping and tanning. We went to a fitness camp to start a healthier life for us in Dubai. They exercised us mentally and physically. We got the chance to become warriors while we were having a truly exceptional experience I will never forget. Well, anyway, I didn't come to TEDx to talk about my amazing time in the camp. In Thailand, we got the opportunity to explore a country all the way across the world from where we live by visiting rural villages. And as we were on these amazing excursions, I noticed something. I saw children, my age and younger, working instead of being at school. This was when I had my spark, a spark that will change my views of the world forever. And I know what you're thinking. Don't they have summer vacation too? Well, they don't, because we start our summer a bit earlier than they do. So anyways, as I saw these children working instead of learning, I felt bad for them, because without education, they won't be able to learn other languages, practice their grammar, and even learn math that will help them in the jobs they are currently in, like food stalls and bazaars. I mean, they're the next builders, workers, bankers, doctors, and generation to step up and take on the world and have their own responsibilities. And even though I was most glad that school was over, I still wanted to help them. So I thought to myself, how am I going to help them? I'm not in my home country. I don't know how to speak their language except how to say hello and goodbye, and I know nothing about them. But I was still determined to persevere and help them. After Thailand, I went to Amman, Jordan for the rest of the summer. I spent a lot of time with my younger relatives, teaching them right from wrong and just having fun with them, you know, their children. We even donated a few things to the children's orphanage. It made me appreciate the life I am so blessed to have. Okay, I want the whole audience to close their eyes for just a second.
And think about this. As you're living a hopefully well life with all your accommodations available for you, someone else your age is hungry, ill with no proper medication, working for low wages, and not getting a proper education. Now, hopefully you would have all closed your eyes and opened them now. As we returned to Dubai to start the academic year, I was still determined to help children in any way possible. I raised money for the Palestinian Children Relief Fund, volunteered in our primary school's production, supervised younger children in younger grades during our lunch breaks, helped out in a local nursery, and something I'm very proud of. Me and a couple of friends raised around 1,200 dirhams for the Don Bosco Children's Home in Borneo, Malaysia, just by doing community car wash. See what you could do when you put your mind to it? It's all because of the spark. Now, I know I'm only 14 years old, and I still have a long way to go, but as I grow up and gain more knowledge, I'll be able to change many lives. Look at me now. With education, I wouldn't be up here expressing my spark to you all, and I wouldn't have realized how this world actually worked. A quote by Mahatma Gandhi: "Live as if you were to die tomorrow, learn as if you were to live forever." The man behind this quote changed the entire future of India with his education of the world and his perseverance for peace to evolve. I mean, Mahatma Gandhi wasn't the richest man, but he was the most capable of doing something because he had the knowledge. You can never stop the flow of knowledge. You can never stop taking in knowledge. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you have to travel all the way across the world for you to get your spark. It's all about the tiny details in everyday life that can make a difference. Even if it's putting some spare change in a donation box, it makes a difference. And as a global community, we are responsible to help these children get a proper education so that they could become the next generation in charge of this global community. We are one. We have one mind. We are one organism, and we have one thought. And as we are all one, each of us deserve the same as the rest of us, especially when it comes to education. So now you know my spark, and hopefully this would have ignited a fire in you. And someday, I hope to take my spark experience and take it to greater extents. Maybe in the future, there will be a better life for the children in Thailand. Maybe in the future, everybody would have excelled. Thank you.
A very brave young woman making her money. I'll tell you what, Denzel. By tomorrow morning, her allowances are going to be doubled, man.
Hope you guys are enjoying the show. I want to give thanks to all the speakers just gone up. All the performers. Well, as you have established, our student body is filled with talent. His next performance is about how Spark changed his life. By the way, whoever hit surprises, please exit the theater because the next performance has a twist to his performance. So please, sit back and listen to Krish Shaznani as he takes the stage. Can I please welcome on stage Krish Shaznani?
Christopher Fry said that poetry is a language in which a man explores his own amazement. The genre of rap music is the language in which I tend to explore my own amazement. It also happens to be the language in which I will express myself in today. See, when I was 4 years old, I got really sick one day, and not quite long after that, I was diagnosed with thalassemia. Thalassemia is any group of hereditary hemolytic diseases caused by faulty hemoglobin synthesis. Basically, I couldn't produce healthy blood cells. After a few years, I was told I had to do a bone marrow transplant to cure my condition. Having to go through stages of chemotherapy, I was bedridden for 6 months. My blood donor was my spark. He gave me the spark to live, he was my savior, and he sparked my life. And now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome on stage the best double bassist I know, Amol Shanks. Give it up.
You ready? Right, just before we start, shout out to Miss Joshi and my man Lewis up there.
And this one's dedicated to my Spark. I know you're watching. And ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to say that I would like for you to watch how with our voices we can transform this EISJ auditorium into a
Smoke It Downtown Jazz Lounge. All right, boys, take it away.
Hit it. TEDxYouth EISJ Jumeirah Kirstach Nani and Mo Shanks, give it up, hit it. Small growing amber particle. As I said on Wikipedia, read it on the article. I'm a misfit, dark, electric spark, built like Tony Stark and fight like Albert Clark. I'm the cynical, individual, intellectual, bilingual, audiovisual, forced to listen to performer at this event. So let's go. Let's get down to the issue. Could get sad, so grab yourself a tissue, cause it's Chris who wrote this rap. Don't interrupt, don't even clap, just follow my voice along with this track. It all went down in the year 06 when I was hung up in the hospital, feeling pretty sick. I was physically, mentally, verbally unstable. Was getting to a point where things were getting fatal. I was unable to barely even read a corny fable. Happily ever after, yeah, I got my little angel tough kid. Went through it, even though it was painful.
Change the beat.
The angel, he was my Operation Blood donor. I changed my blood like Apprentice James is a stoner. This was done 2 months after October. Bone, my roll, sparked me up like a cobra. Spark was the bone marrow given to me. There was a big change in Krishna's body. Blood type change, O from B. A spark saved me, can't you see? So, if you find it hard to believe, tough to achieve, diagnosed at 3 with this horrible disease, thalassemia major, didn't struggle to believe. I had tougher love than Adam and Eve. This is dripping down my sleeve. Solo!
Ladies and gentlemen, watch how we gotta take you back.
The spark may burn out, it may even die. This message is spread to you by none but I. My spark was a boy who's pretty damn fly. My younger brother Rishi, he was my guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that exquisite performance, we have reached our break for tonight. We will have a 20-minute intermission where snacks and beverages will be available in the foyer area directly outside the theater. Bon appetit, and see you in 20 minutes.
Okay, class, let's have a seat. We're about to watch a video.
It all starts with a spark. And that's all you need to change the future. Take charge and lift your generation to places no one's ever been before. Lead your people and make a difference.
And we are calling it iPhone.
We are met with cynicism and doubt, and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can.
Be someone's inspiration.
Just about there and down here, safely down.
So find the spark.
The spark. The spark.
The spark.
The spark.
Spark.
Today.
Okay, class, let's have a seat. We're about to watch a video.
It all starts with a spark. And that's all you need to change the future. Take charge and lift your generation to places no one's ever been before. Lead your people and make a difference.
And we are calling it iPhone.
We are met with cynicism and doubt, and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can.
Be someone's inspiration.
Just about there and down here, safely down.
So find the spark.
The spark. The spark.
The spark.
The spark.
Spark.
Today.
Okay, class, let's have a seat. We're about to watch a video.
It all starts with a spark. And that's all you need to change the future. Take charge and lift your generation to places no one's ever been before. Lead your people and make a difference.
And we are calling it iPhone.
We are met with cynicism and doubt, and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can.
Be someone's inspiration.
Just about there and down here safely down.
So find the spark.
The spark.
The spark.
The spark.
The spark. Spark.
Today.
Okay, class, let's have a seat. We're about to watch a video.
It all starts with a spark. And that's all you need to change the future. Take charge and lift your generation to places no one's ever been before. Lead your people and make a difference.
And we are calling it iPhone.
We are met with cynicism and doubt, and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can.
Be someone's inspiration.
Just about there, and he's down under it. Safely down.
So find the spark.
The spark.
The spark.
The spark.
The spark.
Spark.
Today.
Okay, class, let's have a seat. We're about to watch a video.
It all starts with a spark. And that's all you need to change the future. Take charge and lead your generation to places no one's ever been before. Lead your people and make a difference.
And we are calling it iPhone.
We are met with cynicism and doubt, and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can.
Be someone's inspiration.
Just about there, and he's down under it. Safely down.
So find the spark.
The spark.
The spark.
The spark.
The spark.
Spark.
Today.
Okay, class, let's have a seat. We're about to watch a video.
It all starts with a spark. And that's all you need to change the future. Take charge and lift your generation to places no one's ever been before. Lead your people and make a difference.
And we are calling it iPhone.
We are met with cynicism and doubt, and those who tell us that we can't, we will respond with that timeless creed that sums up the spirit of a people. Yes, we can.
Be someone's inspiration.
Just about there and down here, safely down.
So find the spark.
The spark.
The spark.
The spark.
The spark.
Spark.
Today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please can you resume your seats?
Get out there. No. If you guys would return back to your seats, please. Thank you very much.
Friends and family, welcome back to TEDxYouth 2014. We got a great show scheduled for the rest of the night, so let's get the show on the road, and without further ado...
Hold on, Paul. Tonight's full of surprises, and I've got one for you. May I please take a seat?
Sure. Attitude problems.
A one, a two, a 1, 2, 3, go. Let's gather up in here with TEDxYouth, up with no fear. We beg to ask to give us your care. Now let the bass drop. Let me tell you a little story how the journey started. Her name was Ashdeep. She became departed. She was restless, she was tired, she left her work. People used to call her an ambitious dork. I guess you've just got your minds blown, but bound to get the throne. I hope you enjoyed the host of the show and the guy with the fro. Now, if you don't mind, let's continue the show.
Not bad, not bad. I've seen better.
Anyway, enough about...
Shout out to our drummer, Lewis. Great man, great man.
Anyway, enough about me. Back to the main act. So, coming up next is a senior performer. His last day is tomorrow, before he does his exams. He has a quite unique characteristic. He's here to talk to us how from a spark into flames. Can I please call up on stage, Sergi Sherba.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, a spark, a noun. In physics, it's described as a particle with enough combustion energy to ignite or a small ember. Now, there are a lot of definitions of spark that many of us have heard. Like, for example, there are sparks coming out from his head. It does not mean that the person's hair is burning and they're suffering in agony. Now, and I think most of the girls here heard the most commonest, cheesiest line I've ever saw. And suddenly, a spark have went between them. Romance is another essentials of a spark, as well as anger, stress, And my most favorite thing, fire. Now, today I'm not going to talk about literature, romance, because it would be too long. I would see some people already falling asleep there. I'm going to talk about how a spark inside one man's heart made us all burn along with him. Now, everyone, please raise your hand if you have any Apple product in this theater tonight. Oh, I see some people even waving their iPads to me. Amazing. So tonight, I'll talk about the great founder of Apple, Steve Jobs, and how his small dream became a spark for everyone. Now, if we all think about it, how do we start a company? We need a goal, an idea to make a profit. Now, if you think about Steve Jobs, he never wanted all of that. He never wanted ambitions. He and his friend, Steve Wozniak, they wanted pizza. Yes, a lot of pizza, so they decided to make Apple, a company that brought them millions for a very delicious dream. Now, all sparks start very small. And in case of Jobs, he was 12-year-old. As like all normal 12-year-olds, he was at home assembling his own electric appliance. So suddenly he realized that he lacked a part. Now, I'm not going to mention the part because I have no idea what it means. So if you lack a part, what do? You ask for help, you ask your parents. But what does Steve does? He calls a CEO of Hewlett-Packard Industries and asks him for a part. Now, I know it's completely normal for a child to call a CEO of a huge company at that time and ask them for parts. And Hewlett thought so. So he thought, this kid is smart. Hey, you want a job at my company during summer? Sure. And during that time, he met a man, Steve Wozniak, who made his spark glow even brighter. Now, we all know how he became a millionaire. His computers, Apple, first became his rising star. Afterwards came iPhones and everything else, but what made him so great? It was not the ambitions. It was not even the education, because he had none. He only went to school, even from high school, he dropped out. He didn't go to college nor university. So what made him achieve what he did? A small spark that was right here in his heart. Now, I remember one of the speakers here mentioning magicians or magic. Well, there's no such thing as magic unless it's made by our own hands. And what it requires to make magic is a very small piece of effort. A very small piece of effort that you can use along with your dreams and ideas to break through the barriers of normality. Now, the normality are the social norms which are accepted by society. And if you use your spark to break through those norms and tackle them down, you'll achieve what you want. Now, I know a few of my friends like Celine and Ismail are sitting here in this theater watching me right now. Now, whenever I tell them about any of the idea or dream that they get, they tell me, Sergi, you're crazy. I admit I may be insane, but I have dreams that may turn into a flame of passion. Like right now in this theater, I know a few people who have a huge spark in their heart, like my dear friend Irfan and Tay, who is about to perform. They're great singers. They might become next Mozarts. They might become next Michael Jacksons because it's their passion. They love to sing, and they love doing what they do. As well as my friend Oscar, who is sadly not here, he's a great artist. He's so great that he might become next Picasso or even Stan Lee with his comics. And that's his belief, that's his spark. We all have a spark in our hearts. It just takes effort to break them out. To break them out from a cage we call reality and into our own hands. Now, I think I've bored everyone already, so let's make a very sweet and short conclusion. Don't let anyone's ideas extinguish your spark. You are you, and no one's going to be more youer than you. So please, after tonight's speeches, go back home, sit down, and let your heart break through the barriers of normality. Because you know the saying, you have to fight the power in order to achieve the power. Now, thank you all for listening. It was a great pleasure. Thank you very much.
Sergey Sherba, everybody. I'd love to rap for you guys, but you see, I'm more of an opera type of guy, so that's not going down tonight. So let's get back to the show. Our next speaker, we welcome back Deep Set to the stage. But this time she's not going to talk to us about TED or what's going down tonight. She's going to give us her personal opinion and what she thinks is her spark. So please, ladies and gentlemen, welcome Deep Set to the stage.
I stand here today coincidentally similar to the city I have grown up in, Dubai, continually evolving and growing, an unfinished product of my past experiences and learning. In my ever-evolving life as a teenager, I think the one question that is most often posed to me is, what are your future plans? Then there are the minor but equally traumatizing questions, such as what was your SAT score or how many IB points do you have? Lost in this constant loop between inquiry and interrogation, I came across the rare godfather of questions. Who am I? Now recently, I was researching universities online. Yes, I've reached that pivotal moment in my life that defines the rest of my future. So I'm looking through universities and essay topics when I come across this one essay starter. Who are you? The answer to that question seems fairly obvious. I mean, I'm me. I'm pretty sure I could describe myself to someone who thought they were going to trick me with this climax of all questions. Yet somehow I sat there blank, staring into empty space when, like ordinary ants on the table, became suddenly interesting. I was at a loss of words, a rare incident considering my extremely talkative nature. It really made me wonder, what was it about this one question that left me so speechless? Those 3 words, who are you, challenged me because I understood that the question was looking for more than just a direct answer. It was almost graphic and painful, as if I felt it cutting through my outer shell that I call my identity, such as my nationality or my gender, and carefully dissecting everything I knew about myself. It was... As a teenager growing up in the fast-paced 21st century, I never really take time to sit down and contemplate my motivations in life. We teenagers call it #YOLO, or as for simpler terms for the adults, you only live once. So as I haven't taken out time to really think about my motivations and contemplate them, I didn't really have an answer to this question. It just wasn't something that I had taken time to think about or process. A spark in the divine sense is something we feel, though. It isn't tangible. So I would call this inner drive, this undescribable stimuli, as a spark that keeps me going. It's this sudden rush of energy that fuels me, that sets my mind alight when I'm playing a basketball game or when my fingertips brush the handle of a paintbrush. Even though I wasn't able to describe it, I still couldn't deny the fact that it did exist. If I've felt this energy, if I've experienced it, then how has it not been defined under the likes of gravitational energy or kinetic energy? If you look at it in a broader sense, this energy has caused pivotal transformation of the human race in history. Yet somehow I wasn't able to place exactly what it was. I wasn't able to place this thing that I would describe as the oil that drives my engine in pursuit of my goals. But I couldn't deny the fact that it does exist. And even though it's undefined, I felt that it still defined me. If we're going to accept Darwin's theory of evolution, our ideas, our motives, our thoughts are going to keep continually changing. And funnily enough, the only constant in this whole equation is this spark, this energy that lights up when it's exposed to certain stimuli, with the potential to cause dynamic changes in the world. Even though the cause behind the spark may change, its existence within me felt undeniable. So even with my ambiguous understanding of who I am, I felt the spark define me, because without it, there was no connection between my aspirations or my dreams and the reality in which they reside. Who am I? I'm Ashdeep Seth, an IB student of Indian origins, with a love for basketball, sushi, and my guitar. An artist with an aspiration to be a better me every single day. I stand here today, coincidentally similar to the city I've grown up in, Dubai, continually evolving and growing, an unfinished product of my past experiences and learning. Thank you.
She loves sushi, I love sushi. We have the same spark. This lady is fabulous. That was a speech and a half.
Ladies and gentlemen, up next, we see arguably the coolest kid you'll ever meet. He is a young, brave, and very joyful boy by the name Taeyoung Kim. He is here to talk to...
Give it up for
Taeyoung Kim.
My name is Taehyung Kim, and I'm grade 7. The song that I'm going to talk about is about shadow. It's not unfortunate, death, or something bad. It's about the shadow that follows you and uplifts you. Your spark can be from anywhere. My spark is singing a song and entertaining other people. When I first started singing, I was very young, and everyone was laughing at me because they just didn't knew the song and it sounded funny. Even though they knew the song, they were laughing at me because it sounded funny. But I overcome it, and it's my spark, and I'm proud of it. Find your spark. It should be somewhere close to you. And if you find your spark, you should be proud of it. Thank you. Shadow, shadow. Because I'm shadow, shadow, shadow. When you're clouded.
This kid is on fire. I'm gonna sing. Another round of applause for Taeyoung Kim, please. If any of you ever need a singer for your next party or gig, you could contact me after the show. We could arrange something with Tay, you know. Well, next up is a young girl who isn't afraid to go out of her comfort zone and experience new things. She traveled halfway around the world to Cambodia and finally found her spark. Can I please welcome on stage Isha Simon.
Okay, so have any of you started a fire in the woods? Not some raging inferno, but a small campfire, but the old-fashioned way with a pile of wood. You know, I have, and it's not as easy as it looks. It takes time and effort. It needs to be nurtured, much like that of a spark. Now, sparks, they come in many different shapes and sizes. They come as people, as inspiration, as dreams, and even as objects. But nowadays, when someone thinks of the word spark, they immediately try and think of some deep and meaningful reason for them having found so. But we all know, and as if you've probably deduced from earlier speeches, that a spark can be the littlest and most meaningless of things. A spark is something that inspires you to change. It's something that makes you flourish. It's something that drives you to do. And it's also that warm and fuzzy feeling you get after achieving so. I found my spark in a small village of Siem Reap, the former capital of Cambodia. We went there last November as a school trip, but I actually wasn't planning on going. Why? Because back then, I followed stereotype a lot, and my friends weren't going. And to be honest, my friends are really girly girls. And I thought to myself, if my friends aren't going, why should I go? I have nothing to do with some country I don't even know anything about. But then I got curious, and I went to Google, and I searched up Cambodia. And my heart went out to them. They've survived such a brutal past, such a horrible history from the Khmer Rouge regime. And yet they find the strength to persevere. They find the strength to stand up, brush off their shoulders, and keep going forward. And I said to myself, what am I doing? Why shouldn't I go? I'm my own person, aren't I? And let me tell you, it was one of the best decisions I had ever made. So we stayed at a little community camp amidst the other villagers. We learned to live like them. We did what they did. We saw life through their eyes. And as the trip to Cambodia was a community and service trip, we helped out at the local primary school for children in the district. Every morning, we'd wake up at 6 and work from 8 to 12, building a teacher's accommodation in the school grounds, so that the teachers wouldn't have to drive 4 hours away from the city to the village. And although it didn't look like we did much, I know that we made a difference and that I made someone's day a little bit brighter. And let me also tell you that going to Cambodia has changed my perspective on life for the better. Even after getting back from Cambodia, I tried my best to do something for someone else. I joined the PCRF and we raised money for the Palestinian children in need. I helped at the local primary school production and I helped a local man with some of his needs. But what I'm trying to tell you is that your spark can be anything. Every little thing counts, no matter how insignificant it may seem to others. If it matters to you, and if it motivates you to do, then no one should be able to say so otherwise. Because in the end, you should do something because you want to, not because someone else tells you to. And you do something because you deem it good, not because somebody else thinks so. So, now you know what a spark is, and you've heard my story. But what's yours? Thank you, everybody.
One more time for Isha Simon. Fast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached our last year 12 to take the stage tonight. He is the walking, breathing example of break a leg. You know that phrase? Yeah, okay. So basically, he's here to talk about his love for extreme sports, especially skateboarding. So without further ado, please welcome my dear, dear friend, Ghassan Luqman.
Assalamu alaikum. Greetings be upon you, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I was raised in the heart of the Arabian Peninsula, in Saudi Arabia, on the west coast, in the seaside city of Jeddah, to be exact. Being exposed to very little other than education, religious studies, and simple extracurricular activities such as football or basketball, I pretty much had little or no acquaintances with any other forms of activities that a young child as myself at the time could take part in. Time flew by, and the decision to transfer my family to Dubai was made. And as oblivious as I ever was, I was happy with the verdict, to the extent that I actually tried hiding on the day of departure. Didn't work out very well. And so, one day, my dad decided to take me on a little trip to the many malls of Dubai. I tagged along, thinking it was just going to be another visit to the furniture store to buy some household items for my mother, maybe even a visit to the hardware store to pick up some tools for my father. Please don't let it be another one of those flea markets, please. I tagged along slowly. And slowly squeezing my way through the crowds, I managed to get to the front. I thought I had stumbled upon what seemed to be a circus. Yet, I came across the most spectacular doing I had ever observed. It was a group of skateboarders casually riding the ramps of the skate park that beheld before my eyes. And so, from that moment on, my passion was to collect the expenses of a skateboard and purchase one. Day by day, dirham by dirham, I was getting closer and closer to the goal of buying a skateboard. Eid came by that year, and I was finally successful in achieving my ambition and collecting the expense and buying a skateboard. From then on, I lived, slept, and breathed skateboarding. It was all I ever thought of. Before class, during class, on the way home, before bed, pure skateboarding all over the place. I practiced every day for hours, just for the sole purpose of being able to learn a new trick. Landing a new trick was, however, a feeling that could have kept me going forever. Despite the bullying at school for simply being different, my parents' initial lack of confidence in the sport, as they considered it to be one of the many teen phases that a young child as myself could have gone through, I kept at it. Sometimes I was alone. No one was willing to take me. Nobody was happy to watch me. It was a struggle. I even had to skate through the hot summer days of Dubai sometimes to get to the nearest metro station to be able to go to the skate park and enjoy it with my friends. As time passed by, I came across the idea of competitive skateboarding, where I did some research and found out that some local competitions had been taking place in Dubai. So I signed up, thinking I was gonna win it. The day had come, and I had woken up as early as possible to be able to get to the event first and practice as much as possible. But just like my hopes and just like my ranks on the boards, my hopes came crashing down as I actually placed last out of 12 participants. However, that didn't stop me. I participated every other time, trying harder on every other occasion. And finally, the day had come. I achieved my goal of winning a skateboard competition. Only a few months back, during the summer of 2013, I received a strange phone call at a late time of the night. It was a foreign number that I actually thought might have been one of those pranks. I took the risk and answered the call. To my surprise, it was actually the Asian Extreme Games Committee informing me that I had just been selected to represent my country at the next forthcoming Asian Extreme Games. I was in complete shock. For the next few days, I couldn't eat or sleep in an attempt to try and comprehend what had just happened. I am now the living embodiment of my country on a skateboard. So, through this experience, I learned that a little spark within me was able to grow with perseverance to light an enormous fire to lead the way to my success. Skateboarding was like an art, and the world was my canvas. It was a way where I could express myself and try to achieve my goals. Thank you very much for your time.
Skateboarding and me don't go together. I'm very weak. Thank you, Gassan. Hopefully gave you the inspiration to follow your dreams and always do what you want and what you think is right. Next up, this show is full of surprises. Coming from our very own backyard, we got a 6'8" performer. That's double him, come to take the stage and talk about his spark, how his spark came through his music. I'd like to give a warm welcome to our main man with the plan, Dr. Palmer.
Good evening, everyone. In keeping with the theme of this evening, I'm going to do a song per student request. It's entitled The Greatest Love of All. The song is about self-love. And self-love is one of those ideas that are one of the greatest things that we can impart into our children. Through self-love, we not only learn about loving ourselves, but it's shown in a greater capacity in the manner in which we love others. To simply put it, self-love is one of those final, ultimate power sparks that allow us to not only bond with the rest of humanity, but it allows us to also make this world a better place. I believe that children are our future. Teach them well. Thank you.
Now that man can sing. I think he should change his profession from the teacher to singer. Sadly, we're down to our last performance. The next performer portrays her love and passion for her family. She's been through ups and downs, yet still standing stronger than ever. Ladies and gentlemen, can I please welcome on stage, can you put your hands together for our last performer, Julia Milad.
When I think spark, I think love. And when I think love, I think greatness. And family is greatness. Think about it. Having a few people that love you, cherish you, and always want the best for you. It truly is a blessing. But most importantly, family accepts you. Acceptance is something I learned mostly from my father. The key to everything is acceptance, he used to say. Once you can learn to do so, you can do anything in your life, big or small. Wise words from a wise man who was always happy, always smiling, and was a true hero. I think we've all done things we regret, big things and little things, bad intentions, bad decisions, bad vibes. But to find people who stick with you through the thick and thin is hard. Quite tough, actually, living in such a generation. I mean, yes, okay, we all have our best friends, and maybe some we can call our sisters and brothers. But having a family is something different. Having a family is precious, a gift from God, the most precious, actually. People you should cherish, protect, love, and appreciate. Family accepts you the way you are. They've seen you at your worst and your best, but still choose to love you eternally. As humans, hearing about a loss, our instant reaction would be giving them a hug, reassuring them that everything's going to be okay, or maybe even praying for them. Well, one thing I've learned recently is you never know the true meaning of loss and grief until you've experienced it. My family has actually experienced a loss recently, my father. My father was a great man, a great inspiration to me, somebody who always had such a great sense of humor. And no matter who you are, he could always manage to put a smile on your face. He was a great human being. And he was a spark of happiness and positive energy. And he was the hope that pain truly is temporary and the only thing permanent is love. The love you share with your family is eternal. Music helped me a lot through this tough time. Listening to the words I was struggling to say and hearing the lyrics that my heart was eager to scream out loud. But most importantly, it was an escape from reality and everything that's been happening. I think everybody has different ways with dealing with grief. Some people choose to show it to the public, but some people choose to keep it under wraps, such as myself. Everybody expected me to be sad and depressed about it and change my way of life. But just because I'm not showing it does not mean I'm not hurting. I'm just slowly accepting. I don't want to be that girl. I don't want to be that girl to lose somebody and lose their mind too. And I don't want to be that girl to have started to make bad decisions after her loss. I want to be that girl to continue to make her father proud. And I hope he'd be proud of me right this second. Anything could happen any minute, and time is truly precious. So love, be happy, and live your life to the fullest. But most importantly, show the people you love them. Show the people you love you care, and show the people you love you truly appreciate them. Because you never know what life could throw at you, any minute, any second, or any day. Time is truly precious, and always appreciate what you do have. And as for me, I've learned to have a spark. I've learned to have faith. Because even though I don't live under the same roof as my spark anymore, nor do I see my spark, he can always see me. And he always will be there, an angel, blessing my family constantly. Besides, I'm extremely lucky to have such an amazing mother and a great brother by my side. My spark is my father. My spark is making him proud. And I hope he would be right this second. When I think spark, I think love, and when I think love, I think greatness. And family is greatness. I hope I made you proud, Daddy. I love you.
Julia Malad, guys. Julia Malad.
Thank you, Julia, for that wonderful talk. It's truly inspirational. Thank you very much.
Well, we've come to the end of our show, but before we conclude, I'd just like to call on the main man in the plan, a man who I respect, a man who supports me in the field and in class. I'd like to call on the high school principal, Mr. David Hicks, to have a few words. Thank you.
It's not like me to be speechless. I very often talk far too long, often rambling on. I don't think I can follow that last performance in particular, that last speech, but also everything we've seen and heard tonight. I don't know if you can hear. I'm breaking a little bit. I do apologise. What I do want to say is I personally feel humbled and inspired equally by what I've seen and heard tonight. And I feel proud and privileged to be associated with the students, not only those we've seen on stage tonight, who've opened their hearts to us, but also the supporting team, because it has been a team effort led by students. And all I can say from my heart is really thank you. No more than that. Thank you very much. It made me very proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. As Denzel said, we have reached the end of our show. As hosts for tonight, we thank the audience for sticking by us throughout the night and supporting us through every lame joke or funny joke. So from here, Paul Haddad and Denzel signing out of TEDx Youth. Ashdeep Seth, please conclude the show. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm back again just to thank all of you again for coming out today and really giving us your time. I really hope you did enjoy the show. I'd like to call on stage the whole team and everyone who's really made this all possible today. First of all the HRDs. Next, I'd like to invite the whole TEDx team on for all the work they've done. Of course, we can't forget the technical team on top. Woo! I'd like to thank the two hosts, Denzel and Paul, who obviously made your night amazing with their amazing jokes. And last of all, the one teacher who supported us so much through all of this and right at the end made this all possible, Mr. Bergen.
We would also like to give thanks to Ashley Set for performing the show. And next up, Katna for performing to her best ability. She was head of edition.
I see you guys. I see.
Thank you, everyone, and hope you enjoyed.
Can technical come down for the selfie?
Antonio, can you take a picture of my phone?
You know the sparkles in the end? They're mine.